Hello everyone, what's going on? It's your boy Intrigue Clay and welcome to another vlog. This vlog is not gonna be like a typical vlog that you'll normally see I actually put out, but this vlog of course is surrounding car shows and what I would say some of the expectations that is necessary for especially persons who are going to car shows and competing in car show events. I'm very happy to see that car shows are now up and running again. Like, you know, a lot of events coming up, and it's really good to see that the car show scene is now back. Now that the country has been, you know, somewhat open for entertainment and amusement, so that's a good thing. So just want to take this opportunity to big up everybody who has been supporting the channel since its inception, all the subscribers, the ones that watch the video every time they drop, basically click the notifications. Big up to you. And if you're watching this video, you've never yet subscribed to this channel, you've seen it popped up on your feed a couple of times, give it a subscribe, help the channel to grow. We actually, well, myself actually try to, you know, drop different types of videos, from custom videos, garage type videos, interviews, cars, a lot of different stuff internationally and locally once I get the chance. And you know, at the moment, you know, with the country being a little bit back up and running, you find that car shows are now going to be all over the place, and you have a lot of person come out, you know, they like the vibe, they do a lot of work on the car, especially during the COVID lockdown, and you actually want to come out and showcase the car, not just to show it to people and say, yo, my car is actually, you know, looking great, but also want to compete in car competitions where you actually get rewarded by winning trophies and all that. And as you can see behind me, those are a few of, you know, my trophies. And the persons who are watching this video who actually don't know much about my, you know, car show background, but for persons who know, you know, my car, which I'll put on the screen to give you a chance to see it, I have actually been to many car shows in the last, I'd say 2.5 years, and that would be before COVID. So from 17, 18, 19, and then, you know, COVID came and the country basically got locked down. But up to my last competitive show in December 2019, you know, I was going to car shows competing, and these are a few of the trophies that I've won. Total, I think I have about 54 trophies now, and that is for 99% of them is for my custom Axio. So you don't know, been to a lot of car shows, competed for a while, and actually retired the car last December after the Eels Always car show. So recently, of course, you know, car shows been keeping people coming out, and I just felt like it's something that I wanted to basically talk about, you know, give persons a little bit of insight from, you know, my standpoint as to some of the things that you can do to get ready for a car show, especially if you are competing in a certain category, to say, you know, you want to win that competition. You know, these are what I'm going to talk about are some of the things that I would, you know, assume that are taken into consideration to be ready for such competition. There are a few categories that I will be speaking about, categories that are popularly thrown around at car shows. So, you know, when you go to car shows, you're almost sure that you'll see these categories as categories that are up for competition and up for grabs for a trophy. So I'm going to talk on a few of these categories just to kind of give you an idea of, you know, what these categories would look for if you were to compete, and some of the things that I would say, you know, competitors need to take into consideration if you like to, you know, be really competitive and, you know, give yourself the best opportunity to be a winner in these categories. And of course, you don't know, this video is also to kind of create, as I said, insight, you know, a little understanding for those persons who might not know. You know, I've had the opportunity of judging, you know, a few car shows as well myself, and also for myself, these are things that I look for as a judge, you know, to kind of like know, like, okay, this person was prepared, or the person I wasn't prepared. And you also have a few things that you can also, like, you know, give and take. But let's jump into it, guys. I don't want to make this video too long, but at the same time, you know, I want to be clear, you know, kind of give you an idea as to what these are. So the first one I'm going to talk about, which you'll always see at most car shows, is what we call best rims. Now, best rims, as the name suggests, person will be like, oh, but you know, I like this rim, but you might not like it, so that's why you might choose a rim over that rim. Now, just to let you know that when it comes to the category of best rim, in a competition basis, some of the criteria that falls under this is like the design of the rim will be taken into consideration. That could be a brownie points for the competitor. Signs of scratches. Now, curb rash, it normally happens to rims. You might have a little scrape here and there. If it is a rim that has been resprayed, it could be showing signs of paint damages and all that stuff. So those things would be taken into consideration, like, scratches on your rim, the whole presentation of the wheel. So, the judge will look at that to say, okay, if you are competing, which rim would basically have the least of these issues while judging. You also will be looking at the accessories that complements the wheel and also the car. So when we say accessories, we're going to talk about stuff like the lug nuts. We're going to talk about the dust cap, if you have on any, and what kind of dust cap. I mean, there's a lot of them out there. Persons do buy these aftermarket dust caps and aftermarket lugs that basically complements their car and their rim. So that is also taken into consideration as well. We also look at the tires as well. The tires are very important. Yeah, you have a really bad rim, but when you go to the car show, your tires are pretty bald. Now, if your tires are bald, but your rims are nice, and you have a competitor who also have nice rims, you both have accessories, your tires are also going to come into play. So if that person having, let's just say, fairly new tires, but you on the other hand have on tires that are really bald, you will know for sure that at that point you would have lost some points for the overall presentation of your rims. And I know person will say, oh, but the tires don't really matter much, or the tires could go on. Bear in mind that the tires are a part of the rim, and without the tires you cannot drive the car. So the tires, the rims, the lugs, the dust caps, the valves, they are all components that make up the presentation of the wheels, and these are some of the criteria that judges look for. And then you might say, oh, but my rims them look better than that person, how did they win? I want you guys to understand, watching this video, that car shows, and for anybody who put on a car show and actually doing judging, it is done by a point system. So you would, for example, have 5 criteria that you look for, and those 5 criteria might worth 5 points each. Now, when the judge is looking at these things, these points are used to determine who wins. So let's just say somebody got a 3 out of presentation or the rim quality. What if the other person got 4 for the same? But then in the category of accessories, the person might have missing lugs, missing valve caps, tires don't look so up, then they would lose points for that section. And then when you compile those numbers at the end, you will then know the winner. So it's not a case where you look at them, oh, I like this one, but I don't like that one. It is done by a point system that really gives you a clear-cut idea who the winner is without you having to have to make a opinionated decision on stuff like that. So we're going to look at, for example, cleanest rims. And most time persons get this confused. And I see where sometimes persons go to car shows and they enter into a category, but I don't think they understand sometimes what these categories really are looking for. So you have best rims and you have cleanest rims. Now, when it comes to best rims, it's the whole presentation, scratches, accessories, tires, and also cleanliness as well. But when you look at cleanest rim, this has nothing to do with your design. It has nothing to do with, not so much your accessories, I would say, but those are stuff that will give you brownie points. But when you say cleanest rims, you're looking for the cleanest rims of dirt and also the cleanest rims in terms of condition. So condition would then fall under scratches, curb rash, paint damages if your rims are resprayed, and also the overall cleanliness of your wheels. So if you enter the competition of cleanest rim, please bear in mind that cleanliness, curb rashes, scratches, damage to paint, all of that will play a part into that. When it comes to best rims, you're going to talk about design, accessories, cleanliness, tires, complements to the car. So you have to understand the difference as well, so we know when we enter in what chance you have, and if you really want to enter because you got some nice rims, what you need to do to get those rims rim ready. And I also want to point this out. Everybody has to drive to a car show. You might drive to a car show and it's raining while you're on your way, and also you might go to a car show and your car get dirty. Yo, this is what it's all about. It is your responsibility to make sure that your car is ready on location when you are competing. I'm not going to look at it, or any judge is going to look at it and say, oh, the person drive from Montego Bay to Kingston, so the car would have gotten dirty by the time they get here, so I'm going to overlook the fact that it's dirty, but you're entering for cleanest rims. No, it won't work. So if you're entering the competition, it is very important that you are ready to enter the competition. So if it means that on location when you get to the show, you have to get your bucket and your water and wash those wheels and get them clean because you're going to enter for cleanest rims, then you have to do that, because at the end of the day, nobody's going to say, oh, it is because you drove a long distance why your rims are dirty. So we understand that if it was clean, it would have looked like this. No, it is a condition then and there, and that is what judges look for. And if I'm judging a car show, that is what I'm looking for. I'm not going to think that, oh, it would be clean if it was washed. No, it's what is presented in front of me or any judge at that point in time that is going to be taken into consideration for who actually is the winner, right? Next one we're jumping on, which is, I often see this, and a lot of time person might be like, yo, like for me personally, this category I'm going to mention now is a category that I actually mark very hard for, and I'm going to tell you some reasons why. So we're talking about the cleanest interior. Now, the cleanest interior and the best interior or best custom interior are two different things. And I've seen at car shows persons enter best interior when really and truly they're saying their interior is clean, but at that point you would have entered the wrong category. So if you're entering cleanest interior, this is what these are some of the criteria that will be looked at. So when we say cleanest interior, we're going to talk about your roof, a place in the car that a lot of people seem to neglect, the condition of your roof. That is also part of your interior, and it is also considered as a point system to determine if you are the cleanest interior car owner. So we're talking about the roof, the trims, the seat belt. We're talking about the seat. We're talking about the mat on the floor, the carpet condition, if it shows, or whichever part is shown. We're talking about the places where dirt will seem to lodge a lot, your AC vents, your shifters, where your handbrake is. We're talking about the dash area between your radio, your steering wheel, the dirts that seem to lodge between these areas. If I'm judging a car show and I'm looking at for cleanest interior, I am looking at all these areas to determine what would be considered cleanest interior for me. So of course, when you look at that kind of stuff, you'll be like, yo, how do I get ready for this? Now, if you are somebody who does not have the time to really go in-depth cleaning, you might not have the expertise that's important to actually do this. Guys, especially in Jamaica, there are a lot of detailers out there that perform excellent jobs, and you can link up one of them to get like a proper detailing, and then you yourself can maintain it from that. So getting your seats shampooed, getting your flooring clean, get new carpets for your car, get your car steam cleaned, and all these things are things that will contribute to you being able to strongly compete for cleanest interior. So I've seen at car shows where a person come and enter for the cleanest interior competition. However, when you go and take a look at these cars and look at the car to see, if it has the cleanest interior, you would then notice that the roofs are dirty, the floor mats are not properly cleaned. When you look in the AC vents, they are filled with dirt. Between the shifters, all the areas that I mentioned that are considered areas that will be looked at to determine if it is the cleanest interior, those areas are not properly attended to. One of the things that I've noticed as well at car shows, I've seen it several times when people enter for cleanest interior, you would go to take a look at the car and you will see empty drinks bottles on the floor. You will see, I've seen empty KFC boxes. I've seen clothes, shoes inside the car, and these people are entering for these competitions. Now, my take on this is, if I come to your car and I see empty bottles on the floor, clothes on the back seat, shoes on the floor, all these things, in my opinion, you are not ready to enter for Cleanest Interior. If you are entering a competition, you should be ready when that time comes. If it's a case where you have stuff in your car that you need to actually keep, I'm sure you would have come to the car show with friends who are not also participating, that you can also put your stuff in their car until your car has been judged and completed. So for me, that is no excuse. If I'm judging your car and I see these things, in my opinion, you're not ready, and you will also be marked down in those areas, because overall presentation of your interior will not be up to par. So when it comes to Cleanest Interior, guys, you have to be mindful of these things and know that these things will play a part in whether or not your car will be considered to be the cleanest car. As it relates to best custom interior, this is a whole nother ball game. Cleanliness is always going to be at the forefront of what is being looked at. So overall cleanliness is a plus, and if your car is not cleanly but it is custom, you will be marked down for cleanliness presentation. Now when you look at custom interior, you're going to look at stuff that the individual has done to their interior that would have changed the whole appearance of the interior, differ from what it came from factory. So you've seen the trend where person have done hydro dip into their interior, they've done airbrush designs, they've done custom seats, whether they're wrapped seat covers, bucket seats. We looked at perhaps senior persons have done interior lighting to their car, they've had bars into their car, champagne glasses. All these things would fall under best custom interior. And for persons, sometimes they tend to intertwine what these things mean, but really and truly, when you talk about custom, you're going to talk about stuff that you have done to change the physical appearance of the car from what it came from factory as. So we have to actually look at these things and bear in mind that these things are what separate the two. And persons, when you're entering these categories, you have to know what your car has to offer, what the category is, and what it's looking for before you enter these things. So cleanest interior, best custom interior, two different things, and then you then need to enter the correct one. And then of course the areas will be looked at to see how much you have custom your interior and how it complements your car. So sometimes it's not just about the whole custom aspect of it, it is also how it complements your car, or it coordinates with the team that you're going with, and so forth. And that would then determine who would have the best custom interior at the show at that time. The next one that I want to look at, and which is very popular as well. I mean, I've won a couple of these at car shows, and when you're talking about the best engine bay. Now, before I go into best engine bay, I want everybody to understand that these categories can be very tricky. And as you can see, the evolving of the car show scene, I mean, you have performance cars, you have domestic cars, you have the new emerging of the airbrush game, the hydraulic game, and several other things that persons have now been doing to appeal the appearance of the engine bay. Now I want to make this very clear that in my personal opinion, all these appearances or looks should be categorized accordingly. Now if you're gonna say best engine bay, personally it is very difficult to determine which engine bay is best, because this will now based on opinion. It's not going to based on facts. It's not going to based on what we call a fair point system to determine who would win a best engine bay. Now, when persons say best engine bay, anybody will feel like their engine bay is the best. And as I said, it will depend on, things. And when it comes to car shows, criteria are the best way you can use to determine who really is the clear-cut winner. Now, because of these emergencies and these new appearances and new looks when it comes to car shows nowadays, it is very important to separate these categories. And in my opinion, you would need to have best airbrush engine bay, best hydro dipped engine bay, and you can have best performance engine bay. Best custom engine bay varies. Customs is what you think. And if you're gonna say best custom, it would be very important to state what exactly is looking for before a participant enters into this competition, to know what they have to offer to see if it fits into what the category is asking for. So the best way to do it, I would say, is to now focus on whether or not it is, each one will be different. So I would say I've seen at car shows where they have best old school engine bay or best original engine bay. Now these things could make it very more easier to determine who wins, because when we're talking about best original engine bay, we're going to look for originality as one of the leading criteria to determine who actually takes away this trophy. When it comes to best airbrush engine bay, it is clear. If I go into your engine bay and I look at it and you have hydro dip in your engine bay, you would be automatically disqualified, because the category asks for best airbrush, and vice versa. If you have best hydro dip and you have airbrush in the engine bay, you would have been automatically disqualified. I've seen at car shows where persons actually boast both of these jobs done in their car, but yet still they enter for either categories, and which I think it needs to be enforced and be cleared about, because in my opinion, if I go to a car, I've been to car shows where the category says best airbrush and best hydro dip, and I could not enter because I boast both things in my engine bay, which would have made me automatically disqualified for such category. If you do these things, what would then make it easier for the judge to do is to narrow down their search pointers. So if it's best airbrush, they know right there and then. If I go and look in an engine and there's any hydro dip in there, then of course this is disqualified. You're not going to win, so therefore I'm not even going to waste my time to look. And it's also important for the judge to understand the difference between these two things, because a lot of times they don't understand what is airbrush from what is hydro dip. And it's not, it is, nothing is wrong when you go to judge a car and you say to the participant or the owner of the car, like, are there any hydro dip in the engine bay or any airbrushed? And to be honest, to make it also clear so you can understand, a good way to determine the difference between the two is based on the design. I mean, there are some designs that you just cannot airbrush. You just cannot airbrush it to get that finish. And there are some, designs that you can look at it and tell this is definitely not a hydro dip, because to hydro dip something, you need a particular film to do it. And if that film does not exist, it cannot be hydro dipped. And of course, when it comes to airbrush, there are certain details that hydro dip produces that an airbrush artist might not be able to replicate. So you have to kind of know the difference between. And when you talk about best performance engine bay, then that would have fallen under for persons who would have done, performance upgrades like turbos, superchargers. Probably you have in, a converted or engine swap, you do your nice little setup, wire tuck, all these things, then you would have fallen into that category easily. So it is important to know how to differentiate between the two. Overall, we're looking for appearance, we're looking for cleanliness, we're looking for the finishing. So if you have an hydro dip engine bay or airbrush engine bay, and when I go to look at the engine bay, you have chip paint, you have burnt out paint, you have overspray in different areas, your wires are all over the place, your engine is not clean, you will lose points for these things. A lot of time persons have a custom engine bay like hydro dip or airbrush, and they come to the car show with dirty engine bay, a lot of oversprays, all these different things, and they're competing. Now if you are one of those persons, you would lose points for these little things, because at the end of the day, the overall presentation and finishing would be considered as a criteria to determine whether or not you would have been the winner or not. So when it comes to the engine bay aspects, it is a big debate. It's a big one of the big categories out there, and of course persons have to understand which category you fall under when you compete in these at these car shows to stand the fairest chance of winning, so it does not come off to seem biased, because it can be a very tricky aspect, So I hope I was clear about that, and I hope a person's understand, kind of a little bit more as to what it actually takes, or what people are looking for when they look at engine bay overall. It has to be categorized, guys, into different areas to have a fair and balanced judging system. The next one I wanted to jump on is, before I get into all of that, cleanest engine bay. And as I said, cleanest, it will be based on cleanliness. Once you use the word clean, it has to do with cleanliness, finish, and all of that. So when you talk about cleanest engine bay, obviously you're going to talk about cleanliness in terms of dirt, how clean it is in terms of dirt. We're going to talk about how clean your engine bay in terms of the presentation, how your wires are run. If you have a wire tuck engine, you're going to get brownie points for that. If your paint is chip, if you have dirt lodged into certain areas, and we're going to talk about oversprays, all of that. That is definitely fall under clean. Cleanness is the overall presentation of your car when it comes to cleanliness in paint, fittings, accessories, presentation, wires. All of that stuff will fall under cleanest engine bay. And a lot of time persons enter into cleanest engine bay, and the truth of the matter is your car is just not ready for that category. And when you enter into this category, what you have in your mind as being clean is not what the judges are looking for, and when you don't win that category, you left wondering why you were not the winner. I've seen where a basic stock engine bay went to a car show, one cleanest engine bay, and person be like, this car should have won because it got designs, hydro dip, airbrush, all that stuff. The category did not say best design engine bay or best hydro dip or airbrush. It said clean, and the cleanest engine bay would have been the one that was well clean, freshly washed, no dirt, everything is neat, clean. So we have to remember that these things are very different, and we have to take into consideration that before we enter into these categories. Now the next category I want to talk about is best paint, and I want to be very brief and quickly on this one, guys. When you talk about best paint, I've gone to car shows and person be like, a white car cannot win best paint. Why can't a white car win best paint? If you enter into a competition and there's 5 cars and the white one is the cleanest in terms of paint and the overall criteria condition, that car is going to win cleanest paint. Now when we talk about cleanest paint, yes, the colors of the car do play a role, and it also give you points in that category. But let's just say you go to a car show and a white car go up against I'd say a blue car, for example. Right then and there, color choice, the blue car would probably have an edge already. But as soon as you start to judge the car, you realize that there's rot spots on the car, there's bubbles, there's fish eyes, there's a lot of orange peel, there is like sandpaper scratches lodging under the paint, there's overspray on the trimmings, there is clear run on the paint, on the blue car for example. And on the white car you have just a plain white car, paint is really laid properly, no runs, no rust spot, no bubbles, no paint dribbling, no fish eye, no orange peel, car is well polished, nice, ceramic coated and everything. Do you really think that blue car should win over that white car just because it's blue and one is white? I don't think so. And I would not give that blue car over the white car because of the color. At the end of the day, the points generated would have made the white car the winner, because the blue car would have failed in points in the different areas that you would definitely need to be upturned to win overall. So when you talk about cleanest paint or best paint, we're talking about the color, we're talking about the finish, the bodywork, the spray, if there's any fish eye, orange peel, if there's any paint clear runs, if there's any rust spot, bubbles. All of these things are considered when you're talking about best paint job or cleanest paint or whatever the case may be. These things are what you look at, and if one person win that person with the color and they lose out on the other criterias, You could have the prettiest color in the world, you would lose easily to a white car who would have checked all these other areas and beat you overall in the point system. And I think that's as straightforward and clear as I can get when it comes to best paint at a car show. The next one I want to jump on is also another popular one that has been shown at car shows, and it's talk about best custom ride. Now when it comes to best custom ride, as it suggests, we're going to talk about the overall of the car. When we say overall, we're going to talk about every aspect that would have made or dissect into categories, from the rims to the interior, engine bay, trunk space, and also, most importantly, don't forget custom additives to the car. So if somebody comes to a car show with a plain car but it's clean and everything, and somebody comes to a car show with custom bumper, custom lip, custom engine bay, custom roof, anything that was done to the car that was not done when the car actually came from factory, it would be considered as a custom accessory or a custom effect to the car. So when you talk about best custom, every area should come into play. And as I said again, the point system will separate the winner without bias. Because if somebody, for example, if a person comes to the car and they enter best custom and all they did, for example, was to put on a front lip, a side skirting, a back bumper lip, drop low, nice rims. Let's just say that's what the one competitor has. And let's just say another competitor have the same drop low, rims, side skirt, lip, back bumper diffuser, but that person has a custom engine bay, custom interior, custom sunroof or moonroof. Automatically at that point, that person is going to have an edge over the other person, because in my opinion, there would have been more areas that would have been customized to bring off the whole appearance of the car. Also, one of the most important things that is being considered when it comes to best custom car, it is also and should be considered as a point system in this area, is the finish. How neatly finished the customizing job is, how wonderfully finished, sprayed it is. I mean, the overall finish, neatness and presentation of those customizations that are done to the car should play a vital role into how you determine the winner of best custom ride. So when you talk about custom ride and you're going to enter into this category, you would need to look at how many things you have customized. Is your interior customized and well presented? Does it complement your car? Is your car clean overall? Is your custom kits well aligned, nicely fitted, neatly fitted? We're not talking about custom cars where the lips are falling apart, the side skirts are chipped up, the back diffuser is broken, but you're going to enter for best custom ride. We have to remember that the standards should be upheld, and we have to pay attention to details. Attention to details is very important. One of the things that I realize when it comes to attention to details is persons neglecting, of course, for example, their undercarriage. The undercarriage of the car is very important. A lot of people do not look under the undercarriage of their car. They don't check it, they don't wash it. Worse, if they're driving a low car, that part is forgotten about. Persons might have cars with chipped off calipers or brake jumps. Those areas play a vital role in your overall presentation of your car. And if you're looking at, for example, cleanest car, those areas will be considered, because the undercarriage of your car plays a part of your car's appearance. And if I go and look under those undercarriages and they're full of dirt and muck, and the outside of your car washed, the rims is dirty and all these things, you're gonna lose points for presentation, appearance, and all of that. So we have to take into consideration these things, and these are very important areas that you have to look at when it comes to the appearance of your car, cleanest car, or custom car overall. Last one I want to talk about, because I feel like at this point in time you would have gotten the whole idea in terms of the point system, the categorized areas, and stuff that you actually can look at when it comes to, the whole car show categories: entering, winning, losing, bragging rights, all of that stuff. The last category I want to talk about is the best of a car. And when I say best of a car, we're talking about best Toyota, best Nissan, best Honda, best all of that. How do you determine the best of? And it also boils down back to the same thing. The same criteria that you would use to guide you in terms of best custom ride or the cleanest ride can be the same criteria you looked at when you're talking about best Honda, best Toyota, best Nissan, whichever. If somebody has the best Nissan or best Honda, whichever the car is, we're looking at the interior, presentation, cleanliness, engine bay, presentation, cleanliness, custom work, addition, brownie points. We're talking about the car overall, the paint, the condition of the paint. We're talking about signs of rot, signs of damage, dents, chips, discoloration. We're talking about if there's body kits added to the car, does it add value to the car? Does it make the car look a lot better? Does it make it look different? Does it make it look unique? Are they nicely fitted? Are they neatly fitted? Are the finishing properly done? We're gonna talk about whether or not they add, proper rims. Does the rim complement the car? Are the rims clean? Are the accessories intact? All these things should and must be taken into consideration when you are looking at best car brand. Also, that said car brand should be original and true to that brand, meaning Toyota, Honda, Nissan. It should be true to the brand because, of course, if it is not, you would lose points for that. Doesn't mean, and let me say this, it doesn't mean that someone can lose a car show because they might do an engine swap. Doesn't mean that they can lose, guys. If this is a point system and they're going up against competitors who would have lost points in all the other areas that they would have gained points in those areas, I truly believe that if they got 0 for the category of engine bay with a different engine per se, and they won every other area by paint, presentation, custom, appearance, interior, cleanliness, then overall that person can still win, unless it is stated by the judge or the promoter that this category or this addition to your vehicle would have made you disqualify from the category or the event. Then that would be the only way it would be considered an area of attention to say that person cannot win the best Toyota or best Honda or best Nissan. So we have to be very careful when we're talking about categories and we're talking about who should win and who shouldn't. The rules should be the rules, and it's also important that promoters establish rules for the judging system so competitors are not blinded by what they are looking for or what would qualify you to be disqualified from the event or not. And that's just my personal take, guys. Leave in the comment section, tell us what you think. Tell me what you think it should be, because I'm open to hear the suggestions and the discussions and all of that stuff. So that's one. Overall, guys, car shows is for fun. Sometimes I find that persons really, take it a little bit too serious. I understand that you spend a lot of money on your cars, you bring them to car shows, you enter into categories and all that. But remember, car show, guys, it's not all about winning trophies. It's all about the culture. It's all about the vibe. It's all about showcasing your creativity to your car. So when you come to car shows, guys, make it fun, make it vibesy. Bragging rights is always good, but it can be clean, nice, fun. And I understand sometimes when you might have disgruntledness by the way our shows are being judged. Yes, you can be disgruntled, but don't forget why we do this. We do it for the fun, we do it for the culture, we do it for the vibe, we do it for the whole unity of the car scene. So I want to big up everybody, big up all the car crews all across Jamaica. Big up for the persons who drive near or far to these events to make them a success. Make persons who see your cars on social media get a chance to see them in person and also get to enjoy the Jamaican car scene and also being inspired. A lot of you guys out there inspire these kids, you inspire car enthusiasts, you inspire other people to want to make their car reach a certain level. So don't forget sight of that. Don't lose sight of that. Keep pushing, keep motivating, keep helping each other, and also keep making the Jamaican car scene evolving. Big up to everybody from every area of the car scene, from the custom car guys, the tuner life, the racers, everybody who is a part of the car scene. It's different areas, there are different fetishes, there's different likes, there's different tastes, but at the end of the day we share one thing in common, and that's a passion for cars. So I mean, when you look at other countries in the world, I mean, the racer game is out of this world. I mean, when you look at a lot of countries, Dominican, Trinidad, Japan, America, the racer game is big, guys. You have a lot of people who do, you know, performance upgrades, but there are a lot of racers. And when you go to like international car shows, guys, there is a section for everybody. There's a section for the racers, there's a section for the performer guys, there's a section for the racers, there's a section for the music guys, there's a section for the lowriders, there's a section for the camper gangs, there's a section for everybody at car shows. So not because this set of people love the fandangos and all that kind of stuff means that they don't have a place on the car scene. Everybody have what they have to bring, and everybody who comes as patrons to watch these events will choose which section they lingers the most based on their taste and their love. So guys, let's keep it, you know, as a whole passion. Let's not lose sight of the love for the sport, the love for the whole game. Let's be unified, and let's just keep pushing and bring across better, bigger, exciting and lovely events to people across Jamaica, guys. You don't know, it's your boy Intrigue Clay. Big up yourself. Blessings to everybody. Hope you enjoyed this one. Remember to like, share, subscribe, leave your comments. Until the next one, guys, take care. This is where I head out. Boom. If I forgot to mention anything, you don't know it, but it's a lot of things, but I hope you enjoyed this one so far. Thank you again. Take care.